Ryan.
Hi, love. How are you?
I'm really happy to have you in this self-love podcast. Thank you for accepting my invitation. And I would like to introduce everyone that's listening to us. It's the first episode of the self-love podcast. And you are one of my favorite people here in Aruba and in general. And I respect you and I respect your work so much. And I am inspired by how many people you help and how you help the island through your work as the psychologist of the Correctional Institute of Aruba.
Yes.
And I know you've been a psychologist for 11 years now.
11 years.
And with my experience as a psychologist, as a freelancer, as a world traveler, and now as the founder of Mindful Aruba, I would like to ask you, what do you think of when you think about self-love?
Ooh. Okay, so first of all, I want to say thank you so much for your invitation. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for the island to learn more from your knowledge, having lived outside and bringing that knowledge here with you and providing this help to our island. Self-love. What a difficult question, I guess. I mean, I think it has to do with a lot of things. One of the most important things, I think, is the ability to always look for one's well-being and one's health in every way, shape, and form that comes in. So I think when I think of self-love, I think that searching for your betterment, searching for growth, searching for making correct decisions, searching for that feeling of balance and acceptance of things that you might not be able to change and growing through that experience. So, and I could go days, but I guess this is like the core for me.
What do you think? Because the idea of growth when it comes to self-love, I think they are so necessary one for each other. Do you think a person can love themselves without any intention of growing?
Wow, I think I think if they approach it honestly, I think it happens with them having a control over it. I think growth happens naturally when you have self-love. So I do not believe that it's something that you can choose to act upon, or I think it's something that happens.
Okay.
You can be conscious about it, maybe. I don't know what you think about it, but definitely I feel like with self-love, it's not something you have control over what you have, your growth after it. It just happens.
So self-love actually is not an act of searching constantly for growth. It's more of an attitude of loving yourself, and then growth comes as a consequence, as a natural flow of self-love. Yes. I absolutely love that.
Yes.
I absolutely love that. Can I go for a personal question?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
When did you discover self-love, and how did you decide it's time to love yourself?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think I am very much still on that train. I think in some areas, I absolutely adore myself. Absolutely. Even to a point where it's like, hey, maybe you should talk to somebody about it. But
no, keep going. Many people love you, so just love yourself.
Yeah. I think I've always been kind of on that journey. In some areas of my life, stronger than others. But lately, it's been a lot about my finding mental health and finding peace and calm with things that used to cause me so much anxiety. And it correlates very closely to the insecurities I had. I had a lot of insecurities about my capabilities, about what I was giving, about how I was presenting myself. And I think I came a long, long way in the past few years with that. It took a long, long road, and I'm still working on it, right? And I'm taking it step by step. And I think that's an important thing with self-love, is that you need to be kind to yourself and to your process, and understand that there's going to be moments where it's going to be really hard, and moments where you feel like you failed or you did fail. And it's about picking yourself back up and saying, hey, yes, I feel this, but this is not a reflection on who I am as a person and how I am as a person. people fail. Sometimes the things don't go as we like it, and that's okay. We keep pushing through. We go through it, Yeah, but it's been a journey. It's been a journey. I'm not completely there yet, but I'm happy to say that I'm working hard on it. And my next step is actually the physicalities of it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Gotta get into that. Really get to, I'm getting up there, so I need to focus on my health, my physical health as well, because my mental health is very important, but I can see how they correlate with each other so much, So if I don't feel well with myself within my body right now, it will affect my mindset, and vice versa. How I act upon it and what I do with my body.
They are quite interconnected, aren't they?
Yeah, I feel so. I definitely think they are.
I think they are. My opinion is that you can definitely love yourself without having the perfect body or without having the perfect health. But I think the same as growth, the physicality comes again as a consequence of self-love.
Oh, I know. It's funny. I didn't think about it, but you're absolutely right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you don't need to have it perfect, but little choices of will I move my body enough? Will I choose nutritious food enough? Will I choose enough rest? Or when I'm really anxious, will I choose to eat more or starve myself? I think the more we understand that we deserve a healthy body that hosts a healthy mind and embodies a healthy spirit, they go along and it just support the full nucleus of things.
Yes, definitely. You know what I noticed? I don't know if you've noticed this. Having been in different places in the world, I see this a lot here, and I saw it also as well in Costa Rica and in Venezuela, that it's not common. People don't know what this means, what self-love means, and they don't know what, for instance, an important ingredient, I believe, for self-love is introspection and critical analysis of yourself, not in a negative way, but in a way of what am I doing now? How are things going? Honestly, looking at yourself and seeing what do I need to do to get to my goals in the best way I can get there and in the healthiest way possible, right? And I think we're not taught these things. And then later, people continuously, you hear it all around. You should love yourself. You should love yourself. What does that mean? What does it mean to love yourself? How do you approach love towards yourself? And connected to that, what does that mean for the love you project? And are they related?
You mean the love you project for others?
Yeah.
How the way you are able to love others?
Correct. I think a lot of times we are creatures of habit, and I think a lot of times we recycle things. And one of the things I believe we recycle is the way we love. We have a way that we do the things, and it's important for us to learn what that way is to us and towards ourselves, because that's what we're going to be more or less projecting outside. That doesn't mean there couldn't be dichotomies between that, because some people don't love themselves, but they give everything to someone else.
Yes.
But how truthful is that?
Yes.
That's where I don't know if it has enough content. At love, content. It's like, how do you say that? If it has enough weight behind it.
And authenticity.
Authenticity is the word.
How genuine can it actually be?
Exactly.
I absolutely agree. I don't think anyone can give you true, genuine love unless they have awareness attached to it.
Yes.
Right? Because that's one word that you addressed, like this asking yourself questions, introspection, the awareness, like, am I giving this because of? Or I have to ask myself, why do I love this person? Do I have specific reasons and conditions to it?
Yeah.
Do I love them more than myself? Am I becoming depleted when I'm loving this person? Am I loving this person because I'm fearful and I need someone to take care of me, or I'm scared they're going to leave me if I don't act a specific way?
There's so many questions that come out of it, because you also the question of, or do I think I should be in love with this person? there's so many questions that come out of this, but you can only truly find this out if you're asking these questions.
Yes.
And this is where the awareness comes in, the introspection comes in.
Yes.
I think it's very important ingredients towards finding self-love.
Absolutely. And the same way, if you want to live healthier, if you want to have a healthy body, if you want to love yourself, if you want to have a better work, relationships, whatever, it all starts with awareness.
Yeah.
What is missing? Where am I going? What do I need? Why do you think so many people don't have this awareness if it's like the basics for everything? Why do you think we go so much on autopilot?
I think we get distracted a lot. I think there's a lot of things out there that is specifically designed to distract us. I think, okay, we're going to go deep in this, but I think capitalism plays a part, surprisingly, because it distracts us from looking inwards. It forces us a lot of things. Of course, it's not the only thing that's why we're not doing it. But I think it plays a part. I'm just giving an example as to how easily we can get dissuaded from focusing on the things that might help us gain self-love. For instance, capitalism pushing the ideas that you're not good enough indirectly. Mm-hmm. So you need this better thing. You need this new product for you to mean something. Mm-hmm. It's us projecting our worth, our sense of worth, into external things, into material things. So if I have a house with a pool, 2 stories, a nice car, the whole works, then I'm worth something. Mm-hmm. When truthfully, true self-love and worth comes from inside. So you can have absolutely nothing and be the most, wonderful and worthy person in the world, which everyone is, but you kind of need to find that out for yourself, because I can't love you for you.
Yes. And this is, I think, one of the reasons I love this part of the world in the Caribbean and the Latin America is because people have sometimes nothing and they can still love themselves and love others and love life so much. So I think that's the perfect example of not finding worth in how much you have, but in how you choose to live your life.
Yeah, definitely.
And I fully agree with this, the self-worth. We cannot speak about self-love if we don't speak about the self-worth. Yeah. That never comes from the amount of performance or from the amount of things you do or from the amount of money you have or how much you've been achieving or how many plans you have. I think it all comes from that genuine feeling that allows you to be at peace even during a storm.
Yes. I mean, it's hard. It's hard work. Because it's a storm,
yes. Yes, and storms can be anything at any time. And many times the storms can be just in your mind also.
A lot of times I find
And they can be triggered by small rejections.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Little things. It's crazy how very little things, of course, they're little maybe from an outside perspective. Because to that person, of course, that is a big thing.
Yeah.
And they're feeling it so heavily. But definitely when you do your introspection, when you do your work, when you start working on getting to know yourself, these things become a little trivial after a while. Things that used to really, I'm going to give an example, things that used to really rattle me. I used to have so much road rage. Oh my God, it was crazy. And through introspection, through just really sitting myself down and just thinking like, why does it get me so angry? And it all had to do with impatience and my concept, how I believe that consideration works.
Okay.
So sometimes I feel like people are very inconsiderate. So if you're walking on a street in the middle, the sidewalk, and you're walking behind a person and the person's on the phone and just stops in the middle of the road and there's people behind you, I think that's a little inconsiderate. Or I used to believe that's very inconsiderate because I used to think this is not your world. This is everybody's. So you just dead stop. You don't care about anybody. You just, move aside, be more generous. But I started understanding that a lot of people, most things, they're not consciously doing these things. There's no malicious intent behind it. Mm-hmm. So thus, I should not add such intense energy and behind it. It was more about my impatience and my beliefs with what is, what was to me, consideration, that word consideration. So again, introspection, knowing, honestly, filtering through situations that happen to you from your perspective and towards you. Not, oh yeah, but not telling yourself, oh yeah, I did this, but that whole but situation, it's about you, and it's about you learning about you. And sometimes you are difficult. Sometimes you have hardships. Sometimes you don't want to admit certain things about you. And facing those things will help you move towards, self-love and awareness and reactions, actually.
I love that so much. That's such a powerful lesson about accountability, right? Self-love is taking accountability, realizing how many things annoy you during a day. And yes, fair, it's okay to be annoyed, but true self-love, it's asking yourself, why am I so annoyed, and what can I do to regulate my own emotions better, and my own expectations and my own beliefs, and if I have any rigid beliefs, to correct them instead of getting into this fight with the world, being against the world or the world being against me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to fall into that trap, I feel like. Every day, it's called, depends where you go, but it's almost cultural sometimes. In Venezuela, I grew up seeing that. They would say, jokingly, it's everyday Mother's Day in Venezuela, because on the road, everybody's like, your mother, they're doing that. So they even joke about it. And this is where I say there's various things that pulls us a little bit away from that healthy conversation with ourselves. Culture is one of them. Sometimes we need to take a hard look at our own cultures and kind of release those things that aren't beneficial to our growth, and that's hard. I get that, because, I love my island, I love my people, I love my things, but it doesn't mean you love them any less. It's just that you are making better decisions for yourself, and you're growing and you're loving yourself.
Absolutely. And you're creating more peace inside yourself. Therefore, you're reacting more peacefully towards the world around you. Yeah. And that's how you're going to protect your island better.
Exactly.
And I don't think it's necessarily just a cultural thing. I think it's a human thing.
Yeah.
Like my culture back in Romania, it's also the culture of, no, it's the government, it's the people, it's the ancestors, it's the police, it's everything else besides me.
Wow, I love that. I'm going to get to the shirt. It's everything else except me. Such a reflective phrase. That's you summed it up. That's exactly what I feel it is too. It's everything except you. Question mark?
Question mark. Mark? Like really? Always?
Always. What's the common denominator here? You. So that's the point.
Yeah, we have a saying: if 9 people tell you you're drunk, just go home.
Yeah, go home.
Like if everyone around you is having a problem or is being annoying, it's time to love yourself more by practicing more awareness.
Yeah.
Where can you get a bit more into flow?
Yeah.
Where can you get a bit more tolerant?
Yeah.
Where can you show just a bit more kindness?
Yes. Despite the emotions that your roller coaster bring through, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But that takes practice. It takes time. It's not something, it's almost, you have to practice it so much, it has to become almost muscle memory in the sense. You automatically are questioning, okay, I'm feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way? And the more you do it, the faster it becomes, right? And I think it correlates so nicely to what I love speaking about, or I speak a lot about, which is emotional intelligence. I mean, that part plays into it so well. And I can almost reach the point where I can use those two terminologies interchangeably, because I think emotional intelligence plays a part in self-love.
Oh, yes.
Because emotional intelligence is how you approach your emotions, how you understand your emotions, why, when, with who, in what time, in what intensity. And all that is, I think it falls under that whole umbrella of learning how to love yourself and how to love the people around you and how to better interact with the world and yourself,
Amazing. I'm so glad you brought the concept of emotional intelligence. It's becoming so popular. And I think, as a society, the more we get educated into emotional intelligence, we can grow. What would you say for someone that feels inspired by our conversation today and realizes they don't want to be a victim of the society or life, and they just want to become more aware, love themselves more, and have more emotional intelligence, therefore more peace? What would be the first 1, 2, 3 things, ideas, steps they should consider?
Wow, okay. For self-love, I think the first thing you should honestly do is have a sit down with yourself. I mean, it may sound crazy, but listen, this is what you're gonna have to be doing the whole process through. Sitting down with yourself and having honest conversations with yourself, and it has to start from somewhere. And when you start, it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be, oh, I'm weird. I'm sitting here like mentally talking to myself, or talking to myself audibly, or writing to myself, whichever way you do, or you think that's a better way to interact. But I think step one is sitting down and having an honest conversation with yourself. What are you asking? Okay. I think number one is, who am I? Who am I? Just simple. Who am I? And I'm not saying you're going to have to answer more than just your name. You're going to have to be able, you don't have to be able, because you have to understand you're in the beginning of your process. And a lot of times we don't have a ready to go answer for these things, but at least you have to try and see where we're standing in the knowledge of who I am. I'm Brian. I study psychology. I was born in Venezuela. I'm a kind-hearted person. I'm very stubborn sometimes. I tend to be impulsive sometimes, being honest and having those conversations with yourself and identifying these things. So having that conversation, identification of things you would like to maybe improve, things you feel you don't feel so comfortable with, situations. And definitely another thing that I think is very, very important is understanding that it's a process, not a pill.
Okay, I love that. Say more.
So with that, I mean, a process is something that is going to go prolonged, and it's going to have ups and downs, and it's going to go forward, right? It's just going to start one moment and it's going to keep going. That's a process, right? Not a pill. And why do I use a pill? Because a pill is something you pop into your mouth, and a few minutes later, oh, I don't have any more pain. Oh, I love myself. So if you're thinking that you're going to sit down and have that initial conversation with yourself and yes, I'm there. I am enlightened. Buddha has nothing on me. No, that's not how it works. It takes time sometimes. How long that time takes is going to depend on that person, and that how fast that person adapts to their own situations and to what they're learning and their growth. Mm-hmm. Right? But it's very important, at least to me, and I always advise this, to maintain awareness of the process. So it's not only, because I know when you're going through a process, it's hard for you to lose that line. Mm-hmm. Because you're feeling it. You're not just only looking at and understanding it cognitively. There's emotions that are there. And those can sometimes blind us and make us forget that, hey, it's a process, Mm-hmm. Today I'm not feeling so well. Today I didn't run. And I'm not gonna whip myself 30 times on the back because I didn't run. I understand it's a process. But I'm gonna make a promise to myself. Tomorrow I'll do it. And keep your promises. Mm-hmm. And a good little trick that I've seen that works somewhat well with the clients is that I tell them, how would you do it towards somebody you promised somebody else you loved? As in, you have a best friend, you promise that person, hey, we're going to meet up, we're going to have something to drink, right? But for some reason, you could not go. And then you tell them, we're going to go next time for sure. How would you react? What would you do towards that? Would you just let it, ignore it? Even if that person means a lot to you and you love them, you just ignore it, ghost them, not answer their phones anymore? Or would you keep your promise towards that person? So that idea, we need to adopt it towards ourselves, I believe. So if you love a person or you understand the concept of love externally towards a person, the same way you treat them with kind, love, respect, peace for their process, and a whole bunch of other beautiful words, you should do it. Trying to turn that mirror towards yourself and do it towards yourself.
Mm-hmm. I love that so much. So you start with sitting down and talking to yourself, first of all.
Talk to yourself.
That you cannot avoid.
No.
I've been teaching this my clients for years and years and years and years. They could do anything in the world besides talking to themselves.
Oh my God. Right?
Yes. They could talk to me for hours.
Yeah.
They could talk to their friends. They could talk to ChatGPT. They could look on Instagram, Facebook, go out, drink, take substances, do whatever.
Anything but.
Anything but not talk to themselves.
Yeah.
But once you do that conversation, and many times I say, like, imagine someone keeps, knocking on your door and keeps coming back and keeps coming back and you keep avoiding. At some point, you're going to have to open the door. And I was like, what do you need?
Yeah.
And if you truly sit down with yourself and you ask yourself, who are you? Exactly as you said. What do you need? What's important to you? And any other question that keeps popping up, it will leave you alone.
Mm-hmm.
It won't come to bother you. It will come to support, to help, to encourage, to actually support you get to what you need. And I also love the fact that you mentioned keep your promises.
Keep your promises.
Keep your promises.
Especially to yourself.
Yes.
You should really honor them because
Yes.
I'm going to speak from personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, some people say, easier said than done and all that. And I also think that's an excuse to maintain yourself from doing the things you should be doing.
Uh-huh.
But okay, that's a whole other conversation. But I think that we need to be serious about that. We need to be serious about us keeping the promise to ourselves and taking those actions and being just serious about that situation. And in my personal experience, because it took me a while to get there. I was talking to myself all the time. I never shut up. But I wasn't asking the questions. I was avoiding, I was talking to myself and still avoiding those in-depth, necessary questions I needed to ask. And when I started doing it, what happened was, naturally, like you said, things started rolling. I couldn't, once you open that door, you've opened that door.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've seen something, you can unsee something. You know what I mean? So I started naturally growing. I started noticing growth in my approach towards certain things, in my understanding towards certain things. And also, slowly but surely, in my wanting to keep that conversation going.
Okay.
It was hard. The first one was, I was filled with anger. I was filled with not hate, but definitely anger, sadness, and worry. And after I did that initial, I felt a little better. And, I understood it from the cognitive point of view and I understood it from the psychological point of view, but there was something much bigger than that going on there. And through the journey, I've been learning that you keep unraveling this world that we ourselves have weaved throughout our lives. And we need to unravel that and check if everything, every knot, every sew, every seam is doing what it's supposed to be doing in the best way it can be doing that. And it's a beautiful thing to do. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful thing to do. I think I invite every single person to start doing it, despite the hardships of it.
Yeah. And it doesn't stay that bad. I think that's important for people to know because no one talks about how sad can it be or how angry can we get when we get into this journey and how mean we can be with ourselves.
Oh my God.
Really, I think no one can get to a level of true self-love without being a little mean with themselves on the way.
Oh, it's hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And each time you're being mean, you decide to change that. So be angry on yourself, be upset, be scared, but just don't stay blocked and don't avoid yourself.
Yes.
Don't stop there.